honored to have you on the show. I've been a fan for a long time, man.
Ah, thanks for having me, man.
It's really great to talk with you.
What,
I
what
wanted
what
to,
time are you there now? What time is it?
it is 1 minute after 1
Okay,
p.m.
cool. So lunchtime for you after this, then, yeah?
So you guys are what, on dinner time now, huh?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I just had a few peanuts.
Hey,
That'll
that's what
do
you got
for me.
to do. You're probably doing a lot of interviews for the album now, right?
Oh man, it's just been crazy. I'm just doing loads of stuff. We're doing all the PR, all the merchandise, all tour logistics at the moment. It's just been crazy. I was like juggling. Which meeting am I doing today? Who is it with? God. But here I am anyway. And I
Yeah,
go, oh,
that's
it's not a video one. I haven't even had to shave.
hey, this is great though. I mean, it's good to that you're busy though. I mean, the new album out, obviously, on the 13th album, which
Yeah,
I look back, I said, wow, man, 13 albums. So it drops on April 19th. And what I wanted to bring up is it's also the band's 50th anniversary, which is, I'll tell you what, that's amazing to look back. That has to be, you have to be so proud of that legacy.
oh, it is. It is brilliant. Yeah, not many bands get to this age and still, especially when we haven't been sort of like stellar status, but we kept the thing going. We kept it chugging along, and yeah, we're still here. And who knows, we might be here for another 50 years.
I hope so. I hope so. That says a lot about you as a band, though. I mean, just how you guys kept it together and trudged through. And it's a like you said, not many bands get to do that, but that really says a lot about the strength of this band and the
Yeah, well,
core strength.
it's all about the songwriting as well, and writing quality songs. We never sort of rush into things anymore. We actually have a collection. In fact, these two albums, this one Defiance and Katharsis, they were so close together actually. But we did have a glut of songs left over from the last album, so it was we sort of hit the ground running really.
Right. That's always good when you have it in the arsenal, huh, to get back out.
Yeah.
Well, the new album Defiance, I mean, I think it's listening through it a couple times, it's vintage Praying Mantis though. It's there's so many great songs on it. And I look at the list and obviously, the first single is Defiance, but I love Feeling Lucky, with that classic sound. And I think one of my favorites is Give It Up because it has that
Really?
nice driving groove.
Sure,
Tell it.
William. Oh, Andy will love you, the other guitarist in the band, because he wrote those two. He should be doing this interview, not me.
But it's great with this album though to listen through because there's so many songs that stick with you. And I love that you guys continue to do that with every song. I mean, it's like, hey, I know this is Praying Mantis. I know what this is gonna sound like. Tell us about about this album and when you guys, went into the writing of this. What was it like?
Well, to tell the truth, to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't have a great amount of input in this album because I mean, like, I was actually moving house last year, and it was like a lot of turmoil involved, and I've
Oh yeah.
relocated now out of the big city of London. I'm down on the south coast now, so it's right by the sea, so it's
That's
great. But
great.
yeah, but it took a lot out of me, and I had a lovely studio back at my old place up in London. Massive place. Actually, it was like two double garages worth of space. But now
Yeah, that's
I just like working out an 8 by 8 foot box room at the moment.
big
But
difference.
so yeah, I actually wrote 1.5 songs on the album. One of them Standing Tall, and the other one I wrote with Andy with the Night Swim, the instrumental one. So
Great stuff.
yeah, so I've been a little bit lean on the songwriting on this album, but I've did the caught up a lot on the production and the arrangement of everything. Pieced it all together, pulled it all together, and I think we've got another great product and great songs. And it's good that Andy's come out with some real crackers, as you say. Give It Up and Feeling Lucky. Good songs.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And like I said earlier, the listening to this and the strength of this band, it seems like just from listening to you from the early days all the way until now, the band continues to get better. Is that something that's you know, just with doing it so much, or is that just something you guys are just so tight that you
So yeah, it's almost like autopilot now.
right?
And thing is, you know, we would say, "Oh, everyone says it's a great album," man. And you think, "Oh, it is a great album," but how are we going to better that? And we just stumble into it actually, and it seems to work. It's an automatic process really. But yeah, we will actually take the songs apart at some stage and say, "No, this is not really working," or we'll ditch a song and leave it, shelve it, like I said before, and you know, maybe we'll resurrect it on the next album with a new approach to it. So we've always got that, and we always like to embellish things as much as we can, you know, and give them the fans the best we can. And it's pleasing for us as well that we're coming out of that with a lot of strength as well.
You know, listening to this, like I said earlier, I've listened, you know, a few times already, and I think it's a great album. I actually feel like it's one of your best albums.
Really, wow.
In the fact that what I like about it is it's different. There's still changes. I mean, even though the changes aren't, you know, major differences, they're subtle. But the you know, it feels like it's maybe a little heavier. It has the same groove and everything that, you know, that you guys are known for. But you know, I just get that feeling, and I'm waiting to see what the fans' reaction to this. I know they're going to be excited for you guys.
Thank you, man. No, it's great, especially in this stage, an age where we don't have the concept albums anymore. You know, something sort of runs into it. We've got a lot of choice of songs, so we had to like put a little bit of a mixture on there as well, and just all different flavors, like a box of chocolates, if you like.
That's it.
Some hard scented and some soft centers, you know. So it's great to have that, because I mean, people will sort of download what songs they like, you know, or stream which songs they like anyway if they don't buy an album. So it's a good way of doing it, really.
Right, and you just brought that up right there, and I guess I can ask you about that. What do you feel about that nowadays? I mean, you guys have been doing this for, like I said, 50 years now as a band, and the way things have changed. What do you
Um,
feel about the streaming and the
um,
physical product?
it had to come, didn't it? I mean, I still love the physical product. I love to, you know, get my hands on an album cover, especially a
Mm,
vinyl, you know, and open it
right.
up and read as you're listening to it. You know, take it out of the sleeve very carefully and lay it on the record deck, and sit back, relax, and enjoy and reading the lyrics. And then anything was getting smaller and smaller. You get a CD, and
That's right.
I can't read it. You got this like 60 booklet.
Get the glasses, yeah.
Glasses. But yeah, no, we sort of grew up in the analog age, learned how to do everything organically, and you know, in the studio wires as well. We actually sang each chorus as it came. You know, we didn't sort of bounce in choruses or cut and paste anything. But
Right.
now we use the digital technology to our own advancement. Really, you know, the advantage of actually working faster. So you can cheat a little bit, but I mean, we've still got that organic element about us.
I agree. That's good too, because a lot of the things that come out now have that, you know, overproduced. They're trying to reach that certain sonic level, and I
Yeah,
like
that's
that you
right.
guys continue to. You have the level sonically, but it still has the good classic vibe to it, and I think that's what I like that you do.
I mean, it's great to have the technology there, but sometimes you can lose yourself in the technology and lose the creative part of your stuff. Like, and I was guilty of that for quite some time. And again, you know, you look into the ass of a note, you know, and you go, "What am I doing? I spent this amount of time doing this," you know. But it's a great learning curve as well. So, like I said, using the technology to our advantage, really. But sometimes you can lose the creativity by getting too involved in it. I mean,
Right,
I still love jamming with guys in the studio. I'd prefer to actually record it all in the room together,
right.
you know, and like take it to bits afterwards, or just like do any repairs you need to. But it's just nice to have that element of actually playing together in the room. But we don't do that so much anymore. I mean, two of our guys live in the Netherlands anyway. Our singer John and Hans, our drummer, they're in the Netherlands. We're in the UK. The other three of us are in the UK, and we're living quite far apart from each other now, so it's not easy to get
Right.
together.
It's hard to get together.
I think that's the reason we're still together as a band because we don't see each other that much. And there's no fights.
So now everybody listening, that's the secret for longevity.
Yeah, that's a secret for longevity. But even so, sometimes, you know, when John was doing a vocal at home at his place, he was recording a vocal and he thinks it's great. And I thought, no, I know you can do better than that. And he said, oh, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? But when you're in the studio with him, you can put a consoling arm around his shoulders and say, listen,
right.
I know you can do better than that. I know you can. And he goes, oh. and then you get, you know, play punch and stuff like that, and then you'll get a performance out of him. But you know, you got to get the long range whip out when he's on the other end of a connection.
Right. That's a great way to put it too. Long range whip.
Yeah.
You know, for you know, the style that you write in and what the band writes in, you have so many good hooks and riffs that are a part of what you do, and melodies. What's the writing process for Praying Mantis? Is it something you go with a riff? Do you go with a chorus? How do you build a song for this band?
Well, by myself personally, Chris works a lot on, my brother, he works a lot on keyboards, writes a lot of stuff on keyboards. And I did as well for some stage, but now I've sort of gone more riffy based again. And a lot of my riffs come from going out for a walk, and I'll take my phone with me and I'll record. You know, you get a rhythm of the footsteps, and you start singing something into your phone. Sometimes a guitarist, some people look at me as though I'm crazy. They're going,
Method to the madness.
That's right. Yeah. You know, long ago, before mobile phones came in, people wore earpods and stuff like that. If you start speaking to yourself in the middle of the road, people think you're nutcase. But now it's
right.
It's just like the norm, isn't it?
Right.
But yeah, normally starts with the songs. It does, you know, you usually start with the riff and the music, and then we add the lyrics afterwards. And like I said, I've got tons and tons of these riffs. I mean, on the last album, I actually had so many things on the phone. What I do is offload them onto my Mac at home, and then I put them into my digital audio workstation. I've used Logic Pro, and I was surprised to find like a timeline of about 5 hours worth of songs. And you go, wow, about 10 albums worth, you know. And so, and then I sort of whittle them down, you know, like throw out the junk and or place them aside and just, you know, place them in an order of importance, color code them and stuff like that. And then, you know, you get a good few ideas that are worth working on. So it's a good way of working. And sometimes, you know, I've sang a melody, I've actually sang a lyric as well, and that's worked, and that's stayed on a song as well. So
that's great to hear how the writing process is, you know. And I always tell the bands, you know, that I talk to, it kind of helps me to connect with the songs in a different aspect, you know, from the band side.
Sure, yeah. Like I said, those in the old days, I mean, when we were it was great when we had the luxury of being able to afford to rehearse together, and just come up with an idea together. I mean, Turn the Tables was, I think that was the last song we ever did when we actually worked like that. It was,
Right.
And we did that in about 2 hours in the studio, in the rehearsal room, lyrics and everything done, dusted, you know. And it was a great way of working. I miss those days, but I love jamming with people. Where I am now, down in Hastings, on the south coast of England, it's great. It's a great music vibe down here.
Nice.
I'm jamming with everyone again, you know. They're all asking me for my services, like as a guitar player. So like putting myself about. So it's great. I'm enjoying those old days of jamming again. So that'll keep me going for a few more years.
That's great that you have that outlet too, you know, to be able to, you know. And I could imagine being there on the beach too. That has to be a totally different vibe for you.
It's not Miami Beach or anything like
that.
Right. It's a stony, pebbly beach, and it's cold, and it's quite bleak in the winter. And yeah, but in the summertime it's nice, yes, and it's nice to be by the coast. The air is lovely down here. Yeah, apart from the big smoke.
That opens up the songwriting vibes too.
It does, yes, it's given me a lot of inspiration, but at the same time, like I said, I bought this place down here, and it's like it's like a construction site at the moment. And I've got this little place of solace, you know, and I come here to do my music, and it's got like I've all set up, and all the guitars are at the background, in the background, as you can see.
Nice.
Pile them all up there. I've got another flipping about 38 of them next door. But little by little, I'm going to make this place my Katharsis studio. So
That's great. It always takes time though to get them set up. That's for sure.
yeah, but I was always good at, you know, with my hands and construction and stuff like that. In fact, I, you know, built my first guitar at school, built my first electric guitar at school, and
That's great. That's cool.
Which later became a bass guitar for my brother to get on and play. He didn't even know what a bass guitar was.
That's a great story there. That's a great story.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you read some of the history, you know, we can read it in our biography as well, and lots of. I mean, I think Wikipedia is quite a good like a place to look for stuff like that. I keep on having to correct stuff though now and again.
Make sure that's right. Yeah.
My memory serves me right. Yeah.
You know, we talked about you know, the band sound, Praying Mantis' sound, and then you bring so many elements, you know, to the sound that I hear AOR, I hear melodic hard rock, I hear hard rock. You know, after so many, yeah.
It's a mixed bag.
But after so many years of fine tuning that sound, what do you think what's the signature sound like for you? You know, being in this band, when you look back, and you say, "Man, this is the song that I think stands out as what we represent." I know it's a tough question.
It is a tough question because I mean, like, I sort of go back to other. Oh, did we actually record that one? Blimey! Oh yeah, that sounds good. And then it's great with the great thing about it is you sort of like hook onto one song for a little while, and then you sort of go back, and then you go back and listen to some of the other albums, or someone will play it somewhere in a car, and you go, oh yeah, I forgot about that one, and that's great as well. So I can't really. I mean, obviously those early days from Time Tells No Lies, the songs are quite prolific, and they've been you know, played to death by lots of people, lots of friends and all that, and they still love that. So I suppose when you get the first flavor of you know, sort of stardom, or so, if you like, and we had that little taste of stardom back in those days. That sticks with you, I think. So yeah, so some of the songs from that first album, I'd say Children of the Earth is one, and was one that we still do to this day, and it was written back then. It's all about how man has ravaged the planet, you know, and we're going in the wrong direction. And that was written in 1975, you know. So,
Right.
and I've written Standing Tall on this album, which is the same subject, and it's 50 years late. Well, 4 years later.
It's amazing how that
But
transcends.
50 years later, it was 50 years later, because I mean, the band was like formed we actually formed the band in 1973, but it was called Junction, and it
Right.
became Praying Mantis in 1974.
You know, that was one of the questions I had. That was actually my next question. You know, you guys, you know, kind of started that, they call it, you know, the new wave of British heavy metal, obviously, but you guys preceded that a little bit, you know, kicking.
Oh
it.
yeah. I mean, our main influences. One of my favorite bands, only because a friend of mine taught me how to play a sort of 12-bar, like Chuck Berry thing, you know, and like Johnny B. Good and stuff like that. And then I heard Status Quo were doing all this like 12-bar stuff. So we, like, Pete and me, the guitarist I formed the band with at college,
Right.
we actually jammed all these Status Quo tunes and stuff like that. And we were practically a Status Quo tribute band in those. And then we got into Thin Lizzy with the twin guitar stuff, which was great. That's what started all the twin guitar stuff off. I love Thin Lizzy, and also a band called Wishbone Ash, which were a little bit more proggy, melodic proggy, folky prog, if you like.
Right.
And that was Wishbone Ash because they did all the vocal harmonies as well, and they still had the twin guitar. So that was a very big influence for us. So we took a lot of our roots from that type of music. And we were very lucky to actually stumble in the new wave British heavy metal house. We just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and we had a demo tape that we gave to this guy called Neil Kay, who had all these little heavy metal sound houses were springing up all over the country in every town in the UK. There was a magazine called Sounds, a weekly newspaper, music paper, and we were always featured in the charts in there, and that's what got the whole thing going. Had big interest. We even had Peter Mensch almost timers, like Peter Mensch of Def Leppard fame.
Right.
And he told us at the time, he said, you guys get yourselves a singer and I'll sign you. And we thought, oh, well, wow, it's just so we were just like the 4-piece at the time, all the 3 of us singing. There was my brother, myself, and Steve, God rest his soul, Steve Carroll, the other guitar player. He's not with us anymore. We all took a share in the vocal duties, if you like, and so we didn't think we needed a singer. But then we took this advice, and we did try and look for a singer, but we couldn't find anyone that suited the band at the time. And by the time we got everything operational, it was like we'd lost momentum really on that whole thing. But yeah, it could have been so different. And our management at the time, he said, why do you need these Americans involved? We could do this ourselves, and we believed in them, and this is where we went on, took that wrong turn,
Right.
But you live and learn, and we just watched our counterparts, Def Leppard and Iron Maiden, go way to the stars. But you win some, you lose some. But then again, we're still here, and people know us. We're like a little bit of a household name, but yeah.
Right. That happens to a lot of bands, unfortunately. I mean, that's like the thing. Some of the things that set it apart. And so you have the quality and you have everything there. You just get that wrong advice. When you're young coming up, you look at it and say one thing, and then when you go back, if you could look back and know what you know now and then go back, it's a different story.
If I could look back and see if we could change it, yeah, like
absolutely.
Rod Stewart song. In fact, it was written by Ronnie Lane, I think. If I knew what's you know the one I'm talking about.
Right.
If I knew then what I know now, that's the one. Yeah,
that's right.
But it's it's one of those things. Yeah, if we could have righted it, we would have done. But I mean, like it's oh, what happened there?
I don't know. I can hear you.
You can hear me.
I can still hear you.
I've lost it. Hang on a sec. Where am I? Let me just do. Where's it gone? Where have you gone, John? There you go. Must have pressed something. I pressed the wrong mouse. That's what it was. I was getting.
I have stuff like that happen all the time too, Tino. Believe me.
Technology.
That's it. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing when it works. When it doesn't,
when it doesn't, it drives you crazy.
Yeah.
You discussed earlier, the debut album, Time Tells No Lies, and I thought that was a great launching point for the band. It really sounded like it was the norm for you guys, coming up, even though that was the first album. It had that rawness to it, and like Running for Tomorrow and Panic in the Streets. And I like Lovers to the Grave. I thought that was a cool song because it's it has like that slow, moody vibe. Tell us about the recording of that debut. Because I thought that really
that
cool.
was with a guy called Tim Priest Green, who did. Do you remember a band called Touch, a Canadian band? Yeah, and we heard his production on that, and we think, well, this is us, man. And it was great working with him. We worked with him, and the engineer was a guy called Mike Shipley, who went on to become, like an engineer to Iron Maiden and all these other guys. The guy who was the gopher, the tape operator, Nigel Green. He was he went on to be a big engineer as well. So they learned their trade, and that's what it was like in those days. And in the analog world, like I said, he'd make us do all these harmonies. Three of us would be round the U47 mic, a Neumann U47, and we're just like round the thing, and we'd have to be a certain distance away from it.
Right.
You know, because basically it was mixing it as we were going along. You know, the actual.
Right.
So the blend of the harmony was there and then. So we tracked that 4 times, and we just got these lush harmonies. It was great, and it was brilliant working. Like I said, that was the first time we actually recorded things together. We recorded the actual cover that we've got on this album as well. I Surrender at the time. You know, the cover by it was a Russ Ballard song, but it was a cover by Rainbow, and we actually recorded it before then. In fact, we got where we didn't finish it. We got as far as doing the backing tracks, and then our management came in one day and just said, "I said we'll have to shelve this one." I'm going, "What do you mean? What do you mean? We're like almost there with it, and we're almost finished it." And again, yeah, Rainbow have decided to do it. So who are we to argue with a mighty Rainbow? You know,
Right.
So yeah, that was so we decided to put it on this album a little while later. I thought I was going to save it for the 50th anniversary of that album, but who knows? It might be dead by then. So only a few years to go. But it was great. I just loved working in those days around in the studio, and it's used to going in the morning, do a day's work, and I mean it wasn't silly. We didn't sort of work on late into the night, probably sort of up until sort of 11 o'clock midnight and something like that, and go back in fresh the next day.
Right.
Go to the pub afterwards, have a few drinks, and talk about the day's work, and it was great. It was great. It was really good, relaxed atmosphere.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons you guys stuck together for so long. You know, obviously working with your brother helps out a lot. You know,
we've had fun with it. You know, I mean, everybody who comes, say every time we see you on stage, you guys, looks like you're having so much fun, and you're like, because we are.
That's right.
Smiling. We are. I said, how comes you're so much friends with each other? It's because we don't see each other. We don't do these massive long tours or anything. We'll do a week here or 2 weeks at the most. Right. And then, I mean, and then that's very few and far between as well. I mean, it's more festivals now that we do and things like that. Especially since COVID, that sort of locked so many things down, and lost a lot of promoters lost their asses, you know, and when there were too many festivals, I think, happening at the time, and so it's actually sort of like cleaned it up a little bit. Right. Now. I mean, it's great to actually be able to get on those things every now and again. And the trouble is, a couple of the guys in the band work as well. They've got other jobs now, so I mean, because we haven't been that famous, we're not earning the big money as the musicians used to in those days. You know, you you get a cent for about 1 million streams.
That's amazing. That's crazy.
But I mean, the internet, you know, technology has been great because it's given us more exposure, but it's also taken away that sort of the ability to earn sort of big bucks.
Right. Yeah, it's a totally different industry than it used to be, for sure.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
For you guys on the other side. You know, I wanted to go back to
every wave as it comes. You know, like when we're coming out, okay, we still make it back to the shore. The sharks ain't got us yet.
That's it.
And there's so many of them. There used to be so many of them out there. Oh, there still are. You know.
Oh yeah. They're a little more in disguise now, though, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Digitally disguised sharks.
You know, I wanted to go back to when I first heard you guys. I remember I found the album "A Cry for the New World" back in 1993.
Okay.
Around that time frame, and I first heard the songs "A Cry for the New World," and obviously one of my favorites is "Letting Go." And I never heard the band up until that point, but I became an instant fan.
You don't look enough to be a Praying Mantis fan.
It's amazing, yo. I'm turning 55 this year.
You're kidding me! Wow. I wouldn't put you past 30, 32.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a.
There you go.
That made this interview. Made my day,
have you got a soft focus filter on you or something? An anti-wrinkler.
You know what it is? It's this music that's keeping me young.
Well, there you go.
That's
And I
it.
hope the praying mantis is keeping you young.
Always does. You know, tell us a little bit about that album right there, because obviously you came off the debut and you had to come into that second one. Was it one of those things where you tried to outdo and say, "Hey, we did, had a nice debut. Let's take it another step."
It was, yes. I mean, well, the whole thing came about as because I mean, basically, we had such a hiatus that we almost disbanded when we did, in fact. And it was Dennis Stratton who approached me after his stint with Iron Maiden, and we got together. We got together as friends because we toured together and everything. And he said he'd been approached by Paul Di'Anno, and did we fancy doing a couple of shows in Japan, 3 shows in Japan? And says, yeah, of course. I think it's Paul Di'Anno. He went to see the big DJ out there, Masahito, who's like the main rock guy out there, the rock god, and he actually has television shows or the radio programs all based on rock. So that was it. So he went over there with Battle Zone, his band at the time, and Massa gave him the option and said, well, no, why not try this? He said, get a bit of a hybrid super group together, and that would be Praying Mantis with Paul Di'Anno and Dennis Stratton, and ex-Maiden boys. So we did this hybrid thing, and we did a whole, Maiden set and a Praying Mantis set, and it was started off with the Praying Mantis, and we did some of the songs ourselves. Then Paul Di'Anno came on, and he did like a load of the Maiden stuff, and then we finished up with some Praying Mantis stuff as well. And it was recorded live. That was on that album, Live at Last. That was in 1990, and then we did another studio album after that, the Pony Canyon, the company. Canyon International, they're called now. The Japanese company wanted to do a studio album with us, and we're going, yeah, it's all happening again, second bite at the cherry, as it were, and it started happening. So we threw this Predator in Disguise album together, very quickly, and a lot of it was programmed drums on Dennis's side of things, and like
Right.
And Bruce, the drummer I'd been playing with at the time, we had live drums and programmed drums on it, and it was a bit of a mishmash, like bit of a two-camp thing, because Dennis was writing with a guy called Chris O'Shaughnessy and Lee Hart, and the rest of us were writing together. So we threw some old songs together that we had all bagged up previously, and that album came out, and that was enough for them to give us another album. And then we came out with The Cry for the New World, and that was a big selling album, that one, in Japan. So yeah, well, yeah, that was except we took a little bit of a wrong turn on that one with the mixing on that. A friend of mine told me there's a guy called Carly Trapp. He had the studio in Germany. He's a great engineer. So we went over there to mix it. But that was the days when everyone started messing about with triggers, drum triggers and stuff like that. And so all we got is this big fat snare drum and no. And that song Moment in Life, which was that's one of my favorite songs, Moment in Life.
Right.
You've got this nice Spanish guitar that comes in, ding, ding, and then so you got this drum, this big bah, bah. No subtlety whatsoever. I mean, technology's come a long way, but in those days it was just like you didn't get the nuances of a snare drum. You only just got one ear or the other.
That's right. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
I talked about the first time I heard you, but I wanted to bring up one of my favorite songs that you guys did, and that was back in 2015. All I See from the Legacy album. I thought that was one
That's
of the
another
earliest.
Andy song. I told you Andy should have been doing this interview. You're like, he's Americano, Andy. But yeah, he's the AOR man in the band, really. I mean, he loves Journey, he loves
Right.
like this, and so yeah, it's had to be.
It's it was nice because it's one of those, a lot of the things that you guys do, like I can listen to over and over again. I can, say, I grabbed this album and I put it in and just listen the whole way through. And I think that's one of the statements that you've made over these 50 years is these albums are not just, hey, one song wonders. They're great albums.
Yeah, yeah, we work on it. I mean, we've always prided ourselves on that feature, because it's important, I think, to not. I mean, we've got more time in these days. You know, in the days of old, like if we hark back to the 70s and the 80s. I mean, when we were with record companies, they wanted you to do another album straight away, so you had to write it as quickly as possible, so you don't get that little bit of that seat, that cushion to actually go back and take the song apart and redo it.
Right.
But you just like come out with anything just to please the record company, and then they get their release, and then they get you for another album and then another release. And once they've got fed up with you, they drop you. So why isn't this as good as the first album? Well, why do you think?
Yeah, you gave us 10 minutes to get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we talked about, you know, the consistency of the band and how great the songs are. But one of the things I wanted to ask you about are the album covers. The band has always had that, you know, distinguished album cover. You know, the logo looks great. That's it. Yeah, yeah. But it's all part of the brand, and I think that's what you've done over the years. Tell us about those and how some of those came about.
A guy called Rodney Matthews, great artist. I mean, if you look up his stuff, Rodney Matthews Studios, you'll see lots of stuff. You'll see Magnum stuff on there as well, and lots of other bands that he's done. It's great, like a sword and sorcery sort of element, but with a sort of magical sort of fantasy to it. And he came up with a Mantis, that first Mantis drawing, and yeah, I mean, everybody loved that cover, and the logo. That logo is great. You stick it on a poster in amongst a load of other bands on tour, you know, and wow, Praying Mantis are on there. You know, you can see it.
Right, right. That's right.
And excellent artist. So if anyone wants to check him out. Rodney Matthews, brilliant.
That's really cool. And how about your influences? You know, what are some of the artists that you pattern? You know, either your style or the Praying Mantis style or from.
Sorry, I've misunderstood the question, John. What was it?
Influences for the band. You know, any of the styles. You know, obviously we talked about some of the early days, but what are some of your influences as far as how you write?
Oh, songwriting wise.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, as I said before, with me it was like Status Quo, Thin Lizzy, Wishbone Ash, Deep Purple. I mean, Purple. I mean, that was I don't think I've met another rock guy who hasn't got the album Made in Japan. That was a brilliant album for me.
Right.
One of my faves. And yeah, I mean, all those guys growing up were influences. I mean, I missed out on the whole Hendrix thing. I was quite a late starter playing guitar. I didn't actually start playing guitar till I was about, I built my first guitar at 16 and I started playing when I was 17. So I was a late developer, really. I think I caught up.
Yeah, you did. You most definitely did.
Except like now, like the fingers are getting like arthritic now. I'm starting to get like seize up now and again. And I lost the tendons in this arm. I had a bit of glass went in there. And
yeah.
I actually lost a tendon in here, so I can't bend that finger anymore. So I can't actually bend it back at all like this. So I had to reinvent the way I play chords. When I'm playing solos, it's great, it's fine. But when I had to reinvent the way I played some of the chords because I couldn't bar with that finger anymore.
Right. Yeah,
that's a
difficult.
That being a construction worker all my life as well. Carpenter, not a good thing. I've got 7.5 K's worth of tinnitus that have been screaming in my ears all the time, continuously. And it wasn't that, it was just like circular saws, routers, everything, you know, like
right.
Rock music, routers and rock music. That's going to be the next album.
Hey, that's a good title. That's a good title. How about you as a guitar player? You know, it's we talk about influences.
Oh,
what are some of your influences? But I also have another one. Who's an artist that's one of your influences that we would never imagine was an influence, like somebody a little bit off the charts?
I mean, like I said, I grew up with Francis Rossi and Rick Parfitt, but I mean, later on it was the Thin Lizzy thing, Brian Robertson and Scott Gorham, great duo together. But I mean, when Van Halen came out, I went, what? What the?
No doubt. Yep.
Because I went to see him, so they were supporting Black Sabbath at the Lewisham Odeon in London, down southeast London, and I just I think I spent the whole gig with my mouth open, like.
Oh yeah.
And I said, "What have we here? Wow! I mean, not since
That's right.
You know, someone has changed what a guitar could sound like, basically."
That's right.
I mean, those hammer-ons and stuff like that, it sounded like a keyboard sequence and stuff like that. You know, it's amazing. And then Steve Lukather is one of my favorites of all time. Right. So Gary Moore, Carlos Santana.
Amazing.
Yeah, you know, all great players, and you know, the modernists, you know, so John Petrucci, Guthrie Govan, they're all brilliant players, man. And
yeah, good guys.
Couldn't hold a candle up to them. I stand my own, but we, I mean,
you do.
I guess you got it's for me, it's all about melody. If you can sing a guitar solo, then you're on the right track. That's all part and parcel of the songwriting as well. It's a song. It's a song that you can have. You can sing a guitar melody, then, you know, like a vocal, then it's great.
That's cool to hear that too. I believe it. You know, when you're listening to it, that's the parts that's sticking in your head. All those melodies and the chorus.
Simplest things are the best. You know, at the end of the day. You
That's
know,
definitely it.
I mean, you know, I admire all these shredders and everyone of these speed players, but what, you know, it's great. It sounds great, but where's the song?
That's it. That's it. You got to have the song to accompany it. There's no doubt.
That's it. Exactly.
Tino, what's up next for Praying Mantis? Obviously, you know, April 19th, which is 2 days away. I mean, Friday, the album comes up, but you guys have some live shows coming up too. Tell us about that. What's going on?
We got a busy next few months. We're starting this week. Actually, on Friday, when the album's released, we fly out to Stockholm to do a cruise, the Silja Rock cruise. We're doing that, and we're going to try we're going to try Defiance on that cruise. Then we come back here, and then the week after, on the 25th, we've got an album launch gig here in my hometown in Hastings. Then we go to the Cart and Horses on the 26th of April, which is the Iron Maiden's pub, where Iron Maiden were born, basically. It's cool. Cart and Horses. And then we've got a day off where we're going to rehearse for the new songs for a Japanese tour. So we're going over to Japan in June, early June. So we're going to be, and then we got one gig on my birthday on a Sunday, the 28th, which is on my birthday, but in Swindon, West Country. So,
oh, happy birthday early!
Yeah, I'll be party time that night. Loads of drinks, and then we come back in May. We go to Germany. We do 3 gigs in Germany, 3 shows in Germany, promoting the new album, and then we go to Japan in early June. And at the end of June, we've got the small gigs. I can't remember that. But yeah, in Spain, we're doing the Rock Imperium one, and we're doing some gigs in the Czech Republic as well. So yeah, busy next few weeks ahead.
Well, that's good. That's really good, though. You know, to see the band out there playing live. Dare I ask about US dates? I'd love to see you guys at some point.
You know what? You know, hope for this to happen next year. We're in discussions at the moment with some parties to actually see if we can make this happen.
Well, that would be great.
You don't want so much for a bloody visa. You can come over here for $30.
Yeah, that's right. I need to get over there. I do need to get over there. You know what? I mean, most of the bands, I'm not gonna say all the bands I listen to, but most of the bands, you know, that I really, you know, have a really sentimental piece for are over there. So yeah. I do need to get over. You guys do some good things over there, believe me.
Yeah, no, I think we're looking at next year maybe to do some gigs in North America and South America as well. So Yeah, the world is opening up for us still at this juncture of our lives, in our twilight years, if it were.
But that's good.
Yeah,
It means you're
after
moving.
that, better late than never, they say.
That's it. That's it. So Tito, how about any last words for the fans? I mean, obviously we talked about the new album and the history of the band, everything is coming up. How about any last words you want to get out there?
Oh, I just love to say thank you to everyone who supported the band for this length of time. It's been great having you buy our albums and stuff like that. Keep on listening to us, and we'll keep on delivering. We'll keep on delivering as long as we can. Like I said, ears and as long as I've still got my ears and my fingers, you'll still get my ears, especially. But thank you so much, and thank you for the interview, John. It's been great talking to you guys.
Oh, you're welcome. And in closing, I want to say thank you for doing what you do, because that is what carries so many lives. I know this music has really helped me through my life in all areas. Good times, bad times. So thanks for doing what you do, man.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. Thank you.
And best of luck with the
I
new
mean,
album.
without guys like you, we wouldn't be anything. I mean, it's just having you, the fans, that they come to see us, and you can just see the smiles on their faces and the beams on their faces, and that elates me. I just soar. I just go on stage, and I can go on stage, and I have done before with it aches and pains. I've had gastroenteritis, and suddenly that adrenaline comes and takes over, and you don't feel the pain anymore. You just feel the love, and that's right. So important. And so as you come off stage, you wind down a little bit, and then the adrenaline starts to come down, and then you go, oh,
then it's back again.
But it's true. It's true that adrenaline is the best drug in the world, man, and it's natural.
That's right. That's right. Well, you bring the magic, man. I'll tell you what. And Tina, thank you for, like I said, thank you for doing what you do. Everybody that's listening to Defiance, New Praying Mantis, April 19th. And I've listened to it, so I highly recommend it. It's a great album. Many standouts on this, but it's vintage Praying Mantis. And Tina, thank you for being on the show. And
you're very welcome, John.
Best of luck.
Great talking to you. Great questions. All the best, man.
You too, man. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tina. We'll see you. Thank you.
Cheers, dude. You're the best, man.
That's it. All right, Tina. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Cheers, man. Bless you.